Here's a question I get a lot. How do I know if I have native XRP or which network my XRP or my Bitcoin or my BNB, any crypto token lives on? I'm going to use Trust Wallet for the purposes of this video because a lot of people are asking me about how to use Trust Wallet. But whether you use Coinbase Wallet, whether you use the Crypto.com DeFi wallet or Rainbow or MetaMask, this wallet feature is going to help you determine which network your crypto token lives on. And then I'm going to give you some ideas about what that means and how, if you need to change networks, you can do that. When you open your Trust Wallet, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. This is one of my social wallets in Trust Wallet. I just want you to know, if you don't already know, that this is how people access their cryptocurrency, but that their cryptocurrency, it doesn't actually live on the wallet, so to speak. Your wallet is just a device that lets you manage what's called your private key. This is a unique identifier that different blockchain networks will use to recognize your account from another one. For example, I have a private key for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin network. I have one for BNB, for the Binance Smart Chain. Every blockchain network my wallet has an account on. That account is the private key. This is the thing that authorizes the changing of the blockchain ledger. Because remember, crypto, it doesn't physically exist. It just exists as a record on a ledger that all these different computers around the world maintain. Okay? So now here's how to tell which network your crypto token lives on. And I'll get to the XRP example in a second, but you'll see each of my crypto tokens has a name: Bitcoin, BTC. And this little icon right here tells me it's on the Bitcoin network. This is a very common user experience interface that you'll see in many wallet apps, where they'll have the name, the logo, and then the name of the network, usually smaller, sometimes underneath. Or, check this out, in the case of this token, USDC, which is US dollar coin, that's what its logo looks like. It's on the BNB Smart Chain, and that little inset logo, you see, BNB, there's BNB. This tells me that my USDC is on the BNB Smart Chain network. You can see my Coinbase wallet does this in a similar way. I've got Morpho token, which is like, that's the blue butterfly logo. And then this little icon right here tells me it's on Base Network. Ondo Finance, that's the logo for Ondo. Do you recognize this logo? If you said Ethereum, that's correct. This Ondo token lives on the Ethereum network. Now, back to Trust Wallet and how you can tell which network your XRP lives on. If you've got XRP in your list of token holdings, you're going to navigate to it and you'll look for a little logo like this or a little subtext that tells you what network it's on. If it's native XRP, it'll say Ripple Network or XRPL, which stands for the XRP ledger. You may need to tap into this token on your particular wallet's interface before you see which network it lives on. I want to show you one more thing too, to make sure if you're buying an asset or you're sending or receiving an asset, that you do it on the correct network. Because if you send tokens from one network to another, especially if you do it from a self-custody wallet where you hold the private keys like Trust Wallet, then that cryptocurrency is irretrievable. The transaction is not reversible. It's gone forever. This can be a very costly mistake. So for my Trust Wallet friends, or for anybody else using any other exchange, you'll want to find a search bar and then type in the asset you're interested in purchasing. I typed in XRP, and many of them have a little toggle like this does, where you can select the network that it's available to purchase it on from a drop-down menu. Not every wallet or exchange supports every network, but for Trust Wallet, if you want to find XRP, you see I got a couple of options. I've got native XRP on the XRP network. I've got XRP on Solana, etc., XRP on BNB. I tapped XRP on the XRP network because I want to show you a couple of other things. This menu that appears here when I do that, it's pretty universal across a lot of wallets and exchanges. When you click into an asset to buy it, to sell it, to send it, or receive it. I want to show you really quickly how to walk through those things, but first, you'll notice that Trust Wallet has a little badge up here that says the XRP network requires a one-time fee of 10 XRP for account activation. This is something that, unless you've been around the block a few times, you may not know. I see a lot of people say, oh, I sent 100 XRP to my Trust Wallet, but they stole 10 of it from me. This is a universal thing across the XRP network. And I understand that they're changing this, that some wallets now pay this for you, but this is like a non-refundable fee to activate your private key or your address. It's not a cause for concern. It's not a scam. Solana actually has the same thing, that an activated address must have some SOL in it to activate it. The amount is smaller in tokens, but Not a cause for concern, something you can learn about if you look at their documentation or you hang out with people like me, which is why you should be in a community like the Rise Up Discord server. Anyway, let's walk through some of these things so that you can see some of the other some of the other things to think about if you want to send, receive, sell crypto, etc. Let's start with sending. So you click the send button and you'll see something like this in Trust Wallet or wherever you go. A lot of people are intimidated by sending crypto. I think they believe that to transfer crypto from one wallet or exchange account to another that they have to sell it, withdraw the money, buy the crypto on another platform, and spend a lot of time and fees. But no. Crypto is actually something you already know how to send if you're familiar with using email. What you do is you get the address, or in some cases the domain name you want to send crypto to. You enter the amount, and in the case of XRP specifically, some wallets or exchanges require a destination tag. And the way to think about this is like, if you live in an apartment building, you share an address with like maybe hundreds of other people, but you have an apartment number that helps the mail person know that at this address, that's your mailbox. 123 Bluebird Lane, apartment 12. The destination tag is helpful for exchanges where if you're sending to Coinbase and they're a custodian for many people, they need a destination tag to know which apartment that the token should be allocated to. That's like your private key that they manage for you. So this is how sending crypto works on most exchanges. I want to tell you about receiving crypto after the caveat that, of course, if you're using your own wallet, like not an exchange wallet like Coinbase or Kraken, a destination tag, sometimes called a memo, it's not required. You can just put in 0 or 1 because in order to send assets, some wallets require that you put something here or your transaction won't go through. Now this is what happens when I tap the receive screen, and I want to draw your attention first to this little flag up top. Only send XRP, and parentheses XRP, meaning on the XRP network, assets to this address. Other assets will be lost forever. You can see that I've got this address here that I can copy and send to my friends, or if we're in person, I can just show you this little QR code and it'll pop right up. Now, this is XRP on the XRP network. If you bought XRP on an exchange or wanted to send it from another wallet and you didn't check first, if for example it was XRP on BNB, some wallets would, after you scanned this, notice that and they'd say, hey, you got XRP on the Binance network. You're trying to send it to an address that only accepts XRP native tokens. We can't let this transactions go through. Other wallets will not do that. This is a product of being super early to crypto. Like, we're early, the user experience is tough. Now, here's what you should do. If ever you're unsure or you don't want to send all the money at once, you send a small amount. Send a test transaction. Like, as little as you possibly can, and then verify that it goes through before you send the full amount. I recommend you do this anytime you're sending or receiving to or from a new friend, a new wallet, a new exchange, while you're still learning, because the last thing you want to do is make a mistake you can't reverse. Now we're getting close to 10 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. But first I want to say congratulations, because learning about crypto is going to set you up to be your own bank, to write a better future for yourself, whether you're using this stuff to get ahead financially or you just want to learn about technology that will be at the center of our lives in the future. This is a really cool thing you're doing. I am so proud of you, and I know it's overwhelming. So I mentioned a community earlier. If you're trying to learn this stuff, the absolute best way to accelerate your journey, to save time, to avoid losing money, is to get in a room full of other people where you can ask for a second opinion before you buy something that looks scammy, where you can ask a question you might feel stupid asking, or don't have somebody to ask in your real life where you live. Because, most of us, we don't have friends around us who care about this stuff. We got to get together online. So check out the Rise Up Discord server. It's a totally free community. At the link in my bio, I have a pinned video with step-by-step instructions. It's a great place to ask me a question. Way better than a DM. Don't DM me. My DMs are so full. And to ask other learners at all levels of experience who are very helpful and want to get to know you a question too. We would love to see you there. And of course, if you have more questions, leave them in the comments.